Pennsylvania Governor Ed Rendell leaves office in January after 2 terms. Now, the state's unemployment rate stands at 8.8%. That's below the national average, but the Keystone State's still in deep debt, facing a projected $4 billion budget deficit. The governor joins us now live from Harrisburg. Governor Rendell, good to have you with us on Bloomberg.
Good morning. I have to tell you, even better news. The November job figures came in. We're down now to 8.6, which is a full 1.2% lower than the national average. And in this year, this calendar year, we've gained over 65,000 jobs, including manufacturing going up in 4 of the last 5 months.
We're going to get to the tough stuff, Governor, in just a second. But I want to give you just an easy question for you. What do you think is going to happen this weekend between the Eagles and the Giants?
Well, it's a great game. It's almost impossible to outscore the Eagles. You can contain them, but the key is for the Giants to score points. And last game, they turned the ball over 5 times. If they play turnout over free football, I think the Giants have a great chance to win. We lost our middle linebacker for the season, Stuart Bradley, who's really the linchpin to our defense. So the Giants will be able to score. The question is, can they outscore Mike Vick?
All right, now
Nobody's done it, really.
All right, but I've got a question for you now. How can the incoming governor of the state of Pennsylvania, how can he outscore the deficit? You've got problems in many states of the United States right now trying to just balance their budgets. What's going to happen next year? You're not leaving a lot of money around when you leave office.
Well, unfortunately, the legislature, I tried for the last 2 years to convince the legislature to create a stimulus reserve fund so that during the transition, when the stimulus money fell off, we'd have additional money that would have been in a lockbox that they could have used to bridge the next year or two till growth returns. The good news is our financial advisor, Global Insights, just upped our growth projection for next year to 3.3%. That'll be worth just a little under $1 billion of new revenue without raising taxes for Governor Corbett.
All right, but then explain exactly why the electorate seems so dissatisfied with the Democrats in Pennsylvania. They're sending a Republican to the U.S. Senate, and we've got Corbett coming in as the governor. Why does the electorate see the economy a little bit differently than you're describing it?
Well, because the economy has been slow to recover. It's starting to recover, but it's been slow to recover. And look, this was the worst recession since the Great Depression. Ronald Reagan in the midterms got clobbered because of a recession. President Bush got defeated for re-election, the first President Bush, because of a recession. The party that's in power when a recession hits gets blamed for it, rightly or wrongly. That's a political reality and a political fact.
So does that apply to the Democrats and President Obama as well? Is it likely that if the economy stays sluggish that he's going to be turned out of office if that happens in 2012?
The chances of President Obama losing are much greater if the economy stays sluggish. But you can't, there's an old saying in politics, Tim, you can't beat someone with no one. You have to tell me who the Republicans run before I tell you what the chances are that President Obama will be turned out.
Now, the president's going to be signing that tax cut proposal. Why did the Democrats sort of just, drag their feet on this whole issue?
No, I think that in the end, the Democrats did the right thing. This isn't a perfect proposal. Clearly, the estate tax is being eviscerated, and to me, that's wrong. We don't need to give the richest millionaires in this country tax cuts. But having said that, it was so important to keep the economy coming back to help people who are in need, our constituents, that I think the president did the right thing, and I think the Democrats who went along with him were smart to do so.
We're joined by Governor Ed Rendell of Pennsylvania. Governor Rendell, how can President Obama heal the rift with the liberal factions in the Democrat Party? How do the Democrats get back on track now?
Well, my advice would be to not worry about rifts and factions. My advice would be is to govern and govern effectively. Voters tend in executive positions, that's president, governor, mayor, they tend to judge you by, are you an effective leader? Can you get things done? And I think what President Obama needs to do between now and the 2012 election is show that he can lead. And that means bringing about compromise. In a split government, you have to compromise. I think what the president should do is pass a good energy bill. We're not going to get cap and trade, but there's a lot of good things we can get on renewable energy, on natural gas, on things like that. we ought to pass an education bill. I think there's consensus for extending No Child Left Behind, but reforming it, but keeping accountability, which the Obama administration and Secretary Duncan believe in, and the Republicans do as well.
Governor Rendell,
lastly,
what about accountability
reduction
in state capitals? For example, in Pennsylvania, the debt that keeps growing, and indeed you have the probability or potential for a default at Harrisburg. What's to be done at the state level?
Well, first of all, the Pennsylvania's debt rating is great, and all three indicias we are classified by the rating agencies as having a low debt burden. In terms of the budget next year, every state in the union is going to have trouble because they're losing the stimulus money, which got us through this tough time, and hopefully it was going to be a bridge till the economy recovered. Well, during the first 6 years of my time as governor, we had 4.5–5% growth. We're not going to have that next year, and as a result, there's going to be a shortfall, and we're going to have to cut again. We've already cut $3.5 billion out of our $27 billion budget, but we're going to have to, the new governor and the legislature are going to have to find cuts as well. Plus, they're going to have to find some reasonable revenue enhancements.
Should they take some cues from across the border in New Jersey? Governor Christie there taking on many interest groups, and a lot of people, they just aren't happy.
Well, no, I think when you make cuts, the $3.5 billion of cuts that we've made, a lot of people were unhappy with us. Yes, when you make cuts, you've got to understand people are going to be unhappy, but hopefully in the long run, it'll benefit everyone as growth returns and as you get the ability to do certain things again. But yeah, cuts have to be made, but there also has to be reasonable revenue enhancements. Like we're the only state in the union, Pimm, that doesn't have a severance tax on natural gas. That could produce over $150–200 million a year alone. And the people of Pennsylvania are overwhelmingly, by 80%, in favor of that tax. We give a vendor sales tax discount for stores who submit their sales tax on time. That's an anachronism to the day when bookkeepers did all that stuff in longhand.
Well, Governor Rendell applying that,
Governor
Rendell applying that to the tax cut compromise bill that President Obama is going to sign, are there things in that bill that you think are going to really stimulate the economy along the lines of what you just described?
Sure. I mean, we know from the study that President Bush commissioned that unemployment compensation benefits, for every $1 we give out, it produces $2 for the economy. So that was very important. The percent cut for working people who make $100,000 or less on their payroll deduction. If you make $50,000, you're going to get $1,000 back in reduced taxes. That's going to stimulate the economy.
What do you think is going to be the stimulant for the new Congress coming in? Are they going to be able to actually pass a START treaty? Are they going to be able to deal with don't ask, don't tell policies?
Well, hopefully Don't Ask, Don't Tell will get done during the lame duck, and hopefully START will too. There's no excuse. This idea, Pimm, that it's an offense to Christians if we work Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday of next week, it's absurd. It's absurd. State workers in Pennsylvania work all the way up to Thursday evening, and state workers all over, and municipal workers and private sector workers work all the way through Thursday. The Senate should too.
And what about your future work, Governor? Where are you headed next?
Well, the only thing I know for sure, Pimm, is I'm writing a book, and I want to finish it as soon as I get out of office, because it's just been something I've been doing, but I haven't been able to concentrate enough on doing it. It's called My Life in Politics. You Can't Make This Stuff Up. I actually wanted a more florid word than stuff, but I guess I'll have to deal with the publisher.
I think we'll figure that out on our own. I want to thank you very much, Governor Ed Rendell of Pennsylvania.